Welcome back to the Friday 50-50. Hello. How are you?
Good. I'm so good. I'm so excited because I never know what we're going to talk about.
Oh, how nice. How nice. You continue to be my darling because you messaged me and said, I know you're going to be in a hurry today. What would you like for lunch? And that was just delightful to get that message.
Bless.
And then you were the person that commented on my hair up in a towel post on LinkedIn, which I also really appreciated. I actually think
I felt it. I felt it. Yeah.
I actually thought I need to start this conversation like with a welfare check to let people know I'm okay. I had a number of people contact me and say, "Are you all right?"
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I wasn't that deep.
No, that was you. You were at exactly the right level. Like what was happening, you got it and confirmed that is possible to happen. But yeah, very kind people reached out. I had 4 or 5, couple on LinkedIn, couple on Facebook, because I post all my LinkedIn stuff on my Facebook 50-50 group. Yeah. And they're like, just let me know if you're okay.
Oh, okay.
And I thought that was both lovely, but it also made me question the level at, how far do I go with my authenticity posts, Yeah. So that's an ongoing question. But speaking of questions, I thought one of the things I'm going to try and stop doing, sorry, Grace, I moved away from the mic. One of the things I'm going to try and stop doing is I'm kind of going to do whatever we're doing and stop the questioning of it.
Yes, let's do that.
Yeah, I think it's time.
We're in the arena now. We haven't got time for questions.
Yeah. And I've had a couple of people who are loyal listeners, so they're very beloved to me. They've actually given me feedback and said, you know how you go, is this useful, is that useful? Like, don't worry about that. Just do what you're doing. Just do what you're doing. It'll be what it's going to be. Yeah. It's all right.
Woo.
And I thought, actually, that's a little bit like way back we talked about with Ash saying don't be too modest. There's some of a similar flavour there where I heard this great saying. It's from Chinese philosophy, I believe. I don't know who shared it and might have been even a post. And they said there's a saying which is too much humble is halfway to bragging.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Too much.
Humble is halfway to bragging.
I think that's what I love the most about you.
What?
You've just got these tidbits of information. I remember even from when we were coaching, you've always got this perfect line or this perfect saying or you read this somewhere and you just remember all this stuff.
Well, I love that kind of stuff because it's, like that for me was a great checkpoint for me. Okay, when is too much humble halfway to bragging? So when I'm too humble, is it to the point of inauthenticity like I discussed when Ash challenged me on it? So that I find that very useful to the bag of tricks. Yeah. And of course, one of the things this has been a big week for me, hence my hair up post. I've got curly hair today, like first time ever. I've got my natural hair because I'm going to see your lady later this week to analyse my curls.
Okay.
So I thought I'd better have it curly
There's
when I
analysis,
go.
is there?
Well, I don't know. Normally curly hair is very serious. Is your lady more lighthearted with the curly hair?
I think she just has a natural gift.
Oh,
hi, Anita.
Hi, Anita.
Love you, Anita.
Love you. Haven't met you, but I'm sure I love you. Danielle loves you.
She's just got a gift. She has an intuition with the hair.
Yeah.
You just let her have her thing. You just let her go where she wants to go.
I do, of course, have to put a proviso here because one of my best friends is my actual hairdresser.
Oh, okay.
So, but she's okay when I go and get the curly analysis because it's a specific.
It is very
part
specific.
But
it's very specific.
No love.
That is a lot of hair you got going on.
Yeah, and I've got an undercut, so it'd be more. But I don't tell people that because then they really hate me because everyone wants to have thick hair, not realising it's a total nightmare. Yeah. So I don't normally say that, but yeah, I have.
Back to your post.
Back to my post. So,
I loved it. I loved it so
I loved
much.
that you loved it. It really, really helped me. Basically what happens is I try new things. I feel worried about doing it, as you know, and then one or more people will go, that was all right. And then I feel better and I keep going. And there was a great post last night by a very famous fellow.
Gary V. Oh, I love Gary V.
Did you put me onto him?
Or no, I didn't, but I saw that you liked his post and I was like, I didn't know Tam liked him. Yeah.
It is no joke. It is no joke trying to do what I'm doing. It's no joke. Like people talk about historic mistakes. They talk about what they've been through. But to do it while it's happening, F me, man. Like, F me. It's I am kind of proud of myself because there's a reason people don't do it.
Yeah.
You know, like, and, you know, I have people who secretly like me or will send me a private message but won't want to put a comment on my post because I think they're like, oh, let's not associate just yet. But I like what you wrote. Yeah, it's fascinating. So, you know, one of the things I was thinking about with this post and with this week and with everything is, you know, what did I say this whole thing was meant to be about? It was meant to be about me sharing what I'd found tricky and using the wisdom of the world to help, right?
You have a lot of wisdom of the world.
I do have a bit of wisdom of the world. I mean, there's so many wonderful thinkers out there. And like I always say, it still feels right, like the direction. But I also think what's going to happen over time is things are going to continue to change. So one of the things I thought, I think I need a retreat for myself, a branding retreat. I might invite you to it as well.
Great.
And play with that idea. I also have thought more about, you know, when I did the course that you and I have done, I did the Land of Plenty meditation, and the thing that came up very strongly was a book. Yes. So I've got two different ideas around a book. One is not just mine, but actually a collection of the super clever people I know to help CEOs and executives with how to actually work with and communicate with their staff. I feel like that's my one chance to access the people that I need to talk to that I don't know. And I feel like I don't need to just be me doing that, because if you think of who we've interviewed so far, if you think of who we see online, the level of understanding and cleverness and who could potentially come together in, you know, I really like that idea.
Yeah. The image that came to mind while I was giggling was as soon as she said that, I just had an automatic list in my head of the people I would give that book to who needed that message. And I'd be like, I bought this for you for Christmas. You really should read it.
Yeah. And what's the title? You know, like that's the other thing. What's the title? Some of the titles aren't very.
I was going to swear then.
Me too. What was your one?
How Not to Be an Asshole.
Oh, that's awesome.
just came to me.
I had one rolling
because I don't mean to be assholes. It just works out that way. And I am guilty of the asshole direction. I'm working very hard. Like, you know, when you're very driven and you're very focused and you just want to get results and you kind of just steamroll people and you're like, why doesn't everyone get what we're trying to do here? I totally get, because I have a little bit of that in my personality at times.
That actually makes a lot of sense when you say that.
Like, I don't, you know, then you've like not listened to people and crushed people and people leave and you're like, you know, why can't we keep any staff? Because you're an asshole and you just have no emotional intelligence.
Yeah, you've given me great.
But that's what I got from that, what you said about that book.
You've given me a great insight into, you know, if you think of the difficulty for someone at the high level, they're trying to turn out a result, normally a financial result, like, you know, 99 out of 100 times it's a financial result. They've got pressures from all over the place. Yeah. They may not have particularly good emotional intelligence. They might be good at other things.
Yes.
And, of course, normally the deal is once you get to a certain level of seniority, you couldn't possibly get any further training or development.
Yes.
And that's a problem.
Yeah. And the problem is, I find, with different organisations, is the people that need the message are not the people that go to the seminars or read the books. Like, they're not the ones there. Everyone in the room is the people who are already on that track and have sort of gone, oh, how can I improve? But the people that really need the message, they're not there.
Yeah, that's true.
As soon as you said that, I thought, oh, we could just give them a book.
Yeah.
Here's an audio book even. You don't even have to read it.
Yeah. And I think the title is very important.
Yeah. Maybe don't call it How Not to Be an
Asshole. My original title years ago was Corporations Are the C Word, but I didn't have it as the C word on the title. One of my managers at one of my business goes, I love that, publish it. I go, oh, well, you know, it's a bit harsh.
Yeah.
I also had like CEO for Dummies, but, you know, none of these things are very, you know. But,
it is a bit like that too, because, you know, like, and even I remember being in a particularly stressful situation, you know, where redundancies were on the line and we were trying to keep money coming in so we didn't have to make people redundant. And then but the people underneath, they don't know that. They don't know the level of manoeuvring that you're doing just to keep everyone in a job.
Yes.
And so there's that very much that, well, don't people understand? Like, we're just doing this because otherwise they won't have a job
I know,
tomorrow.
I know.
But at their same end, they don't know what's going on, and they're like, why is there no communication?
I know.
Why is there one? Yeah. So,
Yeah, geez, you raised two awesome points there with the two different perspectives. When I think about what the managers I work with, and I do work up to CEO level, when I think of how much stress they're carrying, how much they're trying to care for people, it gives me a great counterpoint to my fury because, of course, they are, many of them, very well-intentioned, trying to get a good result for everyone. And like you said, trying to support people. Also, people often underneath those managers haven't given the manager a thought. Like when I'm training people who are managers, I go, don't think your staff are thinking about you because they're not generally. One unusual little angel will say, how are you, boss? But that's very unusual. They're like, what's in it for me? What am I going to get? So there's the flip side of the whole story, which I love that you've just helped me with. But then also you said, you know, we can't communicate this or that. And I suppose that's the piece. Where does the fury come from for me? You know, it's all been very confused and hasn't been individualised and all the thing, but it's about the communication piece.
It is. And very much that whole I remember being told you can't tell anyone about this stuff. And that, like you were saying a couple episodes ago, people are intelligent. Tell them what's going on. Tell them that there's a chance next week we all might not have a job.
Yes.
And that we're doing the best we can.
Yes.
But hiding things because you don't want to panic and I guess, you know, sometimes you're a listed company that can affect the market and stuff. There's a lot to think about. But treating people with intelligence. And actually, I remember a good example of that was KPMG, actually, when I was there during COVID.
Yes.
And they'd learnt the lesson from the GFC, which, you know, that was all cloak and dagger type of stuff. But when I was there during COVID, they immediately said, okay, something's going on in the world right now. This could affect our business. Where instead of like making people redundant left, right and centre, everyone's going to just take a pay cut. Can we all get you to buy in on that? Because if everyone says yes, everyone will all do it.
Wow.
Everyone from top to bottom.
Wow.
Obviously, the people at the lower end will be less impacted.
Yes.
So everyone automatically signed up to say, I don't want that person next door to me who sits next to me to be redundant.
Yes.
I'm going to take a little pay cut and we're going to put some money in the war chest, see where this COVID thing plays out. And if we don't need that money, we'll pay it back to you.
Wow.
And they actually paid all the money back.
Wow.
But I just was so blown away that they'd actually learnt that lesson from the GFC where they just hang on and then cut jobs and then obviously the business comes back and then you've got no employees because you made everyone redundant.
Yes.
They kind of learnt that lesson that you can actually communicate to people and say, we actually don't know what the hell's going on in the world right now. This is our plan. And every single person had to sign up to say, I'm willing to take a pay cut for a certain period of time just to help manage cash flow in the business so that, you know, not as many people have to get made redundant.
Yeah, that's
as before.
amazing.
I have never seen that before. And
I
even
haven't heard of it.
But people were like willing to like go, okay, I'm going to make this decision and that might be tough for me for a little while, but I'm going to look after my fellow colleagues. And I was blown away.
It's a very,
Unusual.
very interesting case study. It shows, because my whole thing is, but in a nutshell, it's if companies could change from the parent-child relationship to a group of adults, yes, at different levels of seniority, but companies treat people like children and then adults act like children. Yes. They don't have any other choice. There's no communication.
Yeah.
It's like, well, they won't cope with this. That's very different whether you're making a decision to tell a 5-year-old about sex or not. That's very different from we can't tell people what's happening here or they'll what.
Yeah,
Or
that's
they'll
the what.
what.
Yes, I just don't think they think through the what.
Because nothing is worse for them than the limbo.
Yeah. Or is it just the fact that I think they'll just have to answer a lot of questions that they don't know the answers to? Maybe that's a bit of a pressure. I know I would feel that way. I'd be like, I just don't want to answer all the questions.
Yeah, but you know what? They don't even have to. Like at Discern, our big thing is be explicit, self-disclose, right? Say what you need to say, but also say what concerns there for you, whatever else. So for me, it might sound something like, listen, we don't have information as to what's going to be happening in this area of the department. We've still got a lot of work to do. We'll get back to you by this date. In the meantime, all things normal. Now, what I've seen happen is when it gets to a particular date and they still don't have the answer, instead of saying, apologies, we said we'd have an answer by now, we don't, they do radio silence. And I have seen people, this is where the fury comes from. I've seen people suffer so
Yes.
horribly
Yeah.
in limbo.
Yes.
And somehow
Yes.
it's rationalised that it's okay. It's immoral.
It is.
It's torture.
It is. And then you get all the, have you heard anything? Have you heard
Yes.
anything? And then someone says something and then that becomes the truth. And it's like, it just creates what is that? Vacuum creates the, whatever that saying is.
Yeah.
You know the saying.
I know the saying. Everyone does as well. We don't have to figure it out. So there's a great friend of mine from business we work with. She had a great line. She's like, is it a rumour or a trumour? I'd give her a shout out, but I don't want to in case she doesn't want to be acknowledged as the person who said it. Isn't that genius? Is it a rumour or a trumour? But also then what happens? People start questioning what happens to morale, what happens to productivity, what happens to the culture.
Yeah.
They're all like, because they have, in my opinion, been abused through this silence, they just are not the best versions of themselves then or later.
Hard. Like as a middle manager, person that I was, it's so hard because you kind of know enough about what's going on, but you're not allowed to say anything. And then you've got all the relationships with people because you're in the middle. You're kind of friends with everybody, and you just feel that I don't even want to talk to anybody in case I say something.
I know.
And,
toughest gig. That layer, I think, is from what I've seen, that sort of first level of management where you're with the crew but you're getting the information from above is the toughest.
Yes. Yeah, and you still have to make decisions about who gets made redundant and stuff, but you've kind of got no power even to fix things. That's
it. And you're told you are the one that's holding the culture of the business. You're responsible for the culture of the business. It's quite extraordinary to me, the level of responsibility and the lack of information given.
But the middle.
But, I can see the flip side as well because you made a good point when you said, these higher-ups are dealing with all these stresses, all these issues. And I have worked with people who certainly, no matter what you do for them, and I literally feel like I've done everything I possibly could with my whole heart, they're not generous or grateful or anything else positive.
No.
They're just like, what else you got? Because that doesn't cut it. I'm miserable. And you go, okay, why don't you do something different?
Nah.
I like the money. I'm not going anywhere. It's like, well, why don't you stay and be positive? No.
Nah. I've got a word for those, but I can't use it.
Can't you? Could you spell it?
No.
Could you use asterisks for certain letters?
No, I can't.
Okay. All right.
But it's a good one. I'll tell you after.
All right, tell me after. That's a bit of a tease for the audience. I'll put it in the show notes.
No, you won't, because I control the show notes.
Jeez. Grayson, there's $50 in it for you.
You change the show notes.
Change the show notes. So that was one idea I had, and I find the idea very exciting and satisfying. Now we just need to enrol the people who I think are going to be the clever cookies who contribute, and you can be one of them. Like that KPMG story could be a case
I have lots
study.
of anecdotes. I've
like
got
that.
no solutions.
Yeah,
I'm
but
happy to provide the story.
Well, maybe we can work together because that was the solution in what they did.
Yeah.
Because when they said, so the KPMG story, if you can all take a pay cut, we won't have to make anyone redundant. What did it bring out in people? It brought out their humanity. They would have felt respected
and included
given a choice,
in the decision.
included, empowered.
Because that had occurred. I'd been through a few different organisations, a few redundancies, and everyone's like, gee, we really like that person. Why can't we find a way to keep them? But you don't have the power to do that. And this was empowering people to go, actually, I can do
choose.
something here. Yeah.
So there's a motivational video that we use in one of our courses, and I feel like it's Daniel Pink is the well-known fellow.
Oh, yeah.
He talks about what motivates people: autonomy, mastery, purpose. And Andy adds one of his own, connection, because he thinks a lot of people find a lot from going to work and being with their friends at work. It's nice,
As
right?
an introvert, I find that really weird, but I used to see it in my staff that were extroverted, that they were so excited to come to work and talk and feel part of the community.
Yes. Well, it's for me I act more extroverted, but I'm actually right on the line. But I notice if I've spent too much time alone and then I go to work as a coach, or I come here, or I go to train, I feel much better because I'm not just in my own head or misery or whatever's going on. I'm like, hey, how are you? And then I get the impact of the world in a good way, right? Like of this much more. Actually, before we started today, I said to Grayson, can we swap brains for a little while? I need a break. And I said, hang on, what's going on in yours? And he said, not too much. And I was like, yes, let's swap. But that post I did on LinkedIn saying,
Yeah.
listen, I haven't had a great time. I said in there, and I do believe, and I was talking to Andy about it, the path is still right. But the next person we're going to interview here is Hazel Duffy from Enjoy Your Mind, and she put this great post because I put my perimenopause post as well. I'm going to do a CPAP one. May as well go for the trifecta, right? The importance of wearing a CPAP. I'm going to call it the How to Avoid Andy Having Any Competition series. But yeah, Hazel said new level, new devil.
Yeah, hell
right?
yeah.
And that is the process. And then some of the stuff I'm working through is so big and it's come up unexpectedly that I have never experienced it before. Therefore, I don't have a neat plan.
Yes.
But I think if I do what I intended here, I'll go through the process, share what I share as I'm going along, but then I should have quite a good story or quite a good help to give to someone who might be going through something similar, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that's what I was thinking. I was thinking about our audience.
Yeah.
And originally it was just like anyone. But then I was thinking, I wonder if our audience will naturally sort of narrow, like if you think, what have we talked about so far on here? Maybe the guests is different. I think anyone could listen to the guests. But for Friday 50/50, it's like, is this for everyone? Is this for people who are...
It's for us.
It's for us. That's quite challenging.
I figured I'm the target. I'm our own target audience.
Market. That's I am my target audience. It's one of my favourite memes ever.
And we're not going to please everybody. That's the thing. I can't remember where I learnt that the other day, but not the other day. Through I think all this natural success stuff. That we're going to do stuff and people aren't going to like it, and that's fine. Look at your eyebrows knit.
Yeah,
people aren't going to like it.
This is a pivotal
but the people
moment.
that like it are going to love it, and there's always going to be people that are just not interested, and that's okay too.
I think what you just said is really important for me. I think it's one of the big things that actually would most usefully shift for me is when you said it's for us. I was like, oh, like I got this visceral feeling like, but it can't be. Yeah. And then I went, hang on. Like, that's what you said when you were talking about if you're living your joy, then other people will get joy from your joy.
Yeah, I'm doubling down on that.
Good, because I like it. It's good for me. It's good for me to think that. Oh, yeah. Well, I was happy again driving here today. I didn't even think I would be because I've had a big week. But, yeah I was still like, oh, good. I'm going to do the podcast. Nice. I've got my phone. It's not turned on because I don't want that to happen again. You should have seen the beating afterwards.
Oh, no, I think it's great because I was thinking the other day we have probably a lot of clips now for some really funny outtakes.
Oh, so that's true.
I think on Instagram I'm just going to post our outtakes because they're just funny.
Look at this that came up on my phone this morning. It's by someone which I will pronounce terribly, Baal Shem Tov, and the comment is, "Let me fall if I must fall. The one I become will catch me."
Ooh, the one.
Let me fall if I must fall. The one I become will catch me. That is the theme at the moment.
Yes. Yep.
I might post that.
Yeah.
I might post that.
Yeah.
I also took a picture of myself today in your bathroom looking reasonably well so I can share it and go, I'm okay. I'm okay.
Oh, that's a good way to get some new listeners, actually.
What
Tune into the next episode to see if Tam was okay.
Oh, like the tease.
Somewhat manipulative, but
I was going to say, you're like my perfect marketing manipulator.
Oh, terrible gift I have.
The reason that I'm still looking here is I wanted to refer back to something we talked about ages ago. So John Rodell's a poet I've referred to, Heart and Mind fellow who became famous through that. He's had a new book just come out, but you remember I was thinking about this same theme. What do I talk about? How can it be useful for people? And I thought about, that forgiveness stuff was useful, right? Like that getting it. And he wrote this poem about it. So it's called Wonder Magic. I didn't believe in magic until I was forgiven by someone. I didn't believe that incantations worked until I forgave another person. Now my sorcery is mercy. Now my wizardry is pardoning. Now I am the spellcaster of clemency. And now for my next trick, I will make both of our regrets disappear. I'm going to David White it and read it again. Wonder magic. I didn't believe in magic until I was forgiven by someone. I didn't believe that incantations worked until I forgave another person. Now my sorcery is mercy. Now my wizardry is pardoning. Now I am the spellcaster of clemency. And now for my next trick, I will make both of our regrets disappear. How beautiful.
That is beautiful.
That is so beautiful. I will make both of our regrets disappear. And to have had that experience when I have forgiven or been forgiven, or, of course, the both, the peace and space and joy and love of that versus when things are prickly.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that really speaks to me.
Yes, super beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. And I do love David White as well. You did a good David White impersonation.
When I
there
repeated
it.
Well, it was John Rodell's poem, but David White repeats. I think David White channels from Rumi or someone.
Oh,
because he's really
best voice.
Oh my
and
God.
So, yeah.
And those poems are just life
I wasn't
changes.
really into poetry until I started listening to him on the Waking Up app.
I know, that's me too. Because I didn't understand
so
what poetry could do.
Yeah, me neither.
You know, have I said on here that I wrote a poem on LinkedIn?
I can't remember, but say it again.
I'll read the poem. I'll just have to find it. Talk amongst yourselves. So this is the position I'm in at the moment.
Yeah.
I actually saw Tim Ferriss, the 4-Hour Workweek guy, who's been through whole world, and he sent me a video of his, and he said, if you feel like you're naked in the middle of the street, not knowing where to go next, you're probably on the right path for the first time. And I went, yes, that's exactly how I feel. I started writing a poem like, why did I decide to get naked when my emotional bikini body is nowhere ready?
Oh, that needs to go on a T-shirt, Tam.
Do you reckon?
Oh, yeah.
I just got distracted by another post on LinkedIn.
No.
I should have...
find the one you want.
I will. I'll find it.
Find the one you want.
I will. Yeah, like... that is exactly the feeling.
Yeah. And while you're finding the one you want, I'll tell the story about when you posted, and I was like, oh yeah, that I've had that post revelation hangover, and then I also get the post retreat hangover, and then I also get the post course hangover. So you do those courses and you're like, yeah. And then 2 weeks after you're like, oh my God, this is so hard now because I know things and I need to put them in my life.
I think that needs to be talked about a bit more.
Yes.
That's why I really liked your comment on my post, and I think that's why this will be a useful journey that I share about. I'm sharing about it as it happens, but also I want to share about it in hindsight. Because that, when in the landmark days, I think we used to call ourselves land Martians. One of my friends used to say that. Still friends with that guy. He's a lovely fellow. Anyway, when we were land Martians, they used to say, little bit like the natural success stuff, you make a choice, who do I want to be? How do I want this to work? And then, as we've talking about, often you'll fall in a heap straight away and all the stuff that's not that will show up. So Landmark used to say their choices were called possibilities.
Right.
And when you created a possibility, they'd say, what's the first thing that happens when you create a possibility? What shows up? And they would say everything that's not that.
Yeah, resistance, yeah.
So,
like the War of Art guy.
Right?
Yeah.
So resistance, the War of Art guy, you did it the right way round. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Then you've got the choices for natural success. This is all the different stuff you can read if you want to, people listening, or do. Landmark possibility versus, not that.
Yeah.
But I feel like this is a useful conversation as people are trying to be brave and deal with stuff and clean out the cupboards emotionally. Yeah. It's not so neat.
No.
I did the course, that weekend course. I was like, I've got it, like that. I was like, done. Then I did the big internal stuff, which I can't share for confidentiality, but not much bigger really has gone on for me. And that one, I was like, I can absolutely see what's happening. I'm done, man.
No.
And that's why I shared my head towel post, because I was like, oh, no. I thought I was done.
Yeah.
I literally had a breakthrough post ready to go, and I was dressed up for it, and I had my Oprah arms ready. I will post that when I get to the breakthrough. But I was like, no way, this is the opposite of that post. Now I've got to do a head towel post. I didn't have to have my hair in a towel. I just when
You
I
got to
get
do it when you're in
well,
that
that's
space.
it.
You just, otherwise you won't. Yeah.
You got to do it when
Yeah.
it's there to do. And because I posted the Donna Ashworth poem first, I thought that'll cut it. I don't know what to say. I'm a mess. I'll put this beautiful poet's words on as to when you feel upset. As soon as I posted, I went, that's not what you do, Tamara. You share what is actually happening for you with a towel on your head.
Yeah, right.
Because that's where the real is.
Yeah.
Posting that other thing, yes, it was neat.
Yeah.
I'm sure I did put people off, though. It's very tricky.
It doesn't matter.
Okay, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. I can put people off. Effort. That's what I did. I swing between, I don't know, and then I go, you know what? Fuck everyone. I'm going to do exactly what I want. I'm well-intentioned. This will be whatever it's going to be. There's a pendulum happening. My counsellor told me. You can hear it. Yeah. I hope everyone thinks I'm okay. Fuck them all. That's the pendulum. Now I shall
put
read.
that one on a T-shirt too.
Yes, please. The more T-shirts, the better. We need merch. Christmas is coming. We're going to sell 2 T-shirts minimum. Okay, so Kate de Jong, who I will give a shout out because she wrote this wonderful post that I commented on. She wrote a post saying, let your heart be your guide on all things, but you have to listen closely because it speaks so softly. That quote is by John St. Augustine. That could also go on a T-shirt. I'll David White it. Let your heart be your guide on all things, but you have to listen closely because it speaks so softly. John St. Augustine. So then she shares a little bit about herself, and then I comment beautifully with a beautiful picture as well. Then I comment, it speaks so softly, I think one must want to turn one's ear to it. I wanted to say one, not your, because I wasn't saying about anything about Kate, right? It speaks so softly that I think one must want to turn one's ear to it. Being in this process now, it's fascinating experiencing the pain of the right path, in dits, my heart's path, versus the pain of the same old path. This pain is more exquisite, not easier, I'd argue, but beautiful and alive versus constricted and deadened. As I wrote this comment, this poem came to me. It's all happening here, Dr. Kate de Jong, and then I add the poem to the comment. No one told me there'd be pain here too, on the other side. The mountain view was promised exquisite, but I am lost and alone and exposed on this peak. Why peak, I say, when the journey has just begun? But I feel the height, the breeze whipping about me, the light and the fear. It's still fear. It could even be worse than the old, but it's alive and blood-filled and true in caps. And there is nothing dead here. Hopelessness is gone. In dits. Everyone knows dits, right? Quotes. Hello, where am I going? And then still in dits. Anyone? Will I be shown? I think not. 1 foot after foot, creeping slowly into the hope-filled and unknown future. And that's it. Then Kate replied, Tamara, wow, in caps, this is beautiful and also true. I love how you describe this, and I love the line in the poem, alive, blood-filled and true, there is nothing dead here, and creeping slowly into the hope-filled and unknown future. I love this. Thank you so much for sharing. And then I said, you're welcome. You must have inspired me. How's that, man?
That's great. I think there should be a new segment on our Friday 50-50.
Poetry Corner.
with Tam.
Let's think of it. What's a name likely to be on Christian radio? And poetry time. No, but there have to be alliteration. And for our poetry pause.
Oh.
What did you think of the poem, actually? Put you on the spot.
Oh, no, I loved it.
Did you?
I loved it. I actually thought you'd copied. I didn't realise you'd written it till later. Like, I thought you'd copied and pasted it from someone. Because I didn't read the post, properly, and then I just read the poem. Like, I got straight to the meat of the post. And I thought, oh, what a beautiful poem. No, I really loved it.
Oh, cool.
But, yeah, I didn't realise it was you until then. I think I went back because someone else had liked it or something, and I went and looked. I went, oh, Tam wrote it. I was like, awesome.
I think I might post it as my own thing, and I might post it on my welfare check post and put like a little happy picture that I took in your bathroom, and then put that post and say, I'm okay. This is what's happening. It's all good. Do you know what else I've noticed? Since I've been sharing more authentically on LinkedIn, I've always shared pretty authentically in life, but on LinkedIn, do you know what I've noticed? I think other people are sharing more authentically.
I agree.
But you know what the problem is?
What?
they were already famous. So when they share authentically, everyone goes, oh, you're so brave and wonderful. And when I share authentically, people go, what now?
Who's this weirdo?
Who's this weirdo? I was thinking about, we're talking
But
about...
it was like that post you did of Gary V's, though. Who wants to be like everybody else?
Yeah, but he got like 47,000 likes.
Yeah, but he's been famous for a very long time.
I know, I do get a bit ahead of myself as well. I do get a bit ahead of myself.
But it was so funny that you posted that this morning, because that is exactly what I was thinking about this morning, because I'd just been to improv class last night.
Yes.
With an improv, we've got all ages, all ethnicities, all diversity of whatever, like everybody's there. There was like 25 people or something, and it was just, and then we went around the class last night. There was, on the second week, you sort of introduce yourself and talk and things, but everybody's so different and everyone's so beautiful. Everyone's spirit is so special. But it's funny how many people in that improv sort of theatre space think that they're weird or whatever, and I'm like, but that's what makes you so cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, we try so much of our life to be normal, I'm putting this in quotes, and then you kind of get to this age and you're like, what the fuck was that all about? Because
I don't know.
Now I don't want to be normal. Normal is boring. All the interesting people are not normal.
No, it's true.
And I don't want to be around normal people.
Yeah. I reckon this is going to...
Did that come out right? Can you just...
No, that's exactly...
Does that make sense?
Said this...
Sometimes we just say stuff.
No, it's perfect. We said this episodes ago when we said who would listen to this, and we said, people who are just trying to live the same old, they're not going to listen to this for a minute. Remember, I was going, shut up! I still remember that, thinking, I wonder who I offended. But, they're not listening, so they're not going to be offended,
So like that thing you put, the Gary Vee thing, don't be fucking normal. Be you. Be you.
This journey is fascinating. Do you know what I can't wait for? And I'm sure I'm getting there. We're eking there, doing all this other work in the background. I can't wait till I post and you don't have to comfort me. That's going to be so good. It's going to be good for me, for you, for the listener. It'll kind of mess with the 50-50 because then I'll be
we'll have other things to talk about.
It's true. The 50-50 never
run out
ends.
of things to talk about.
I did have a fantasy when I'm 75 that I have a podcast called 75-25 because I've got a lot further in that time. Grayson will be 47.
You did the math. Oh, my God.
No, I didn't. I don't know how old Grayson will be.
That was
In
impressive.
25 years' time, Grayson will be 42. Is that right, Grayson?
Oh, my God.
He doesn't know. He's not even figuring it out. I don't know if he's committed to being my AV on 75-25.
He might have moved on.
Well, you'll be an internationally famous lighting guy by
Can you
then.
imagine? Can you just come back from this, world tour that you're doing and just do our podcast?
Could you just come to Arnell's spare room because we're doing 75-25. I wasn't meant to ask any questions, but I've still got questions like, do I have to get more famous and respected and then be vulnerable? Because it's not happening now. I've done it the wrong way around.
Oh, no.
You don't reckon?
Dude, your own path. Who said that to you the other day? Someone said that to you the other day.
I don't
Can't
know.
remember. You
Might have
told
been
me.
you.
No, it was me. But, I'm not good at the references. But, you do you the way you're meant to be, and the stuff will come. That's what Gary Vee did. Gary Vee was him. He has been consistently him the whole way through. He had haters. He had people that liked him.
Well, I feel like I am being quite brave.
I've been through phases with him.
Have you?
Yeah, I've loved him.
Go on and off.
And then I've been off him because I thought he was too much hustle culture, and I was really rebelling against hustle culture at one point. But he's come right back to actually, you need to be you. Don't try and be me, like with the hustle stuff.
Yeah, don't try and be me.
Yeah,
well, that's the thing, right? I do feel brave, and I also feel like it really, I'm learning at the moment how to respect my own opinion versus opinions I've been given and taken on erroneously, right? Yeah. So what do I actually think? And I reckon I'm doing a great job in terms of being authentic. And I think I just want people to agree, both because I want to have people listen to this, I want to, and I want to feel all right. But over time, I'm really looking forward.
That's a hard bit, isn't it? Doing it without getting
that's
that
like, I want to one time, I don't think I ever want to do stand-up, right?
I feel you because I'm the same. Like,
right?
You want people to tell you, what you're doing with your life is good, but you have to go on regardless.
You have to do it first.
Regardless. Yeah.
So I remember when I wanted to do stand-up and I thought one night I'm going to do one round of stand-up. I might still do it, but I don't know. But one of my first gags was going to be when you're a new comedian, you walk out to silence, right? And people going, what the fuck have you got? As that, you know. Yeah. And I thought my first line was going to be, don't you think it's unfair that Jerry Seinfeld comes out to wild applause? He doesn't need any validation. But the new comic comes out to like a pin dropping. Yes. And that's what it feels like. It feels like walking out onto an open mic stage and going, hello?
Yeah.
I did that on purpose, Grayson. Hello? And then going, did you hear the one about the... And someone going, you suck. Going, this still feels right. Grayson has never pointed at a sign with so much gusto as he just did. It was like this.
Yes, we are well over time today.
And so we'll say thank you so much for listening. It's always interesting to hear it back, isn't it? What did we talk about? I have no idea. Okay, love you. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.